Hi everyone, welcome to another video on the Money Tree robot by the founder LeapFx. This is going to be week 7 and I think the final week that we're going to be doing the review or the demo results on this particular robot. For those of you who are new, this robot claims to have made over 700% profit in just 3 months. We've had this robot running now, as I said, for 7 weeks at the high risk or the riskiest settings possible given by the vendor, so that we could try and replicate the results using the same broker, the same account, and the same leverage that the vendor is using on their live account. Okay. From the last video, which was week 5 and week 6, week 5 we didn't have any trades. Week 6 we had 2 trades of euro and Swiss franc. Both of them ended in a stop loss, basically ended in a loss, which resulted in around $250 worth of loss profit. Now, from week 4, we ended week 4, so basically a month worth of testing, just for background, with $500 in profit. And we were hoping to grow on that and actually increase the lot size, and I didn't. I left it at 0.4, and then subsequent week after that we landed up taking the $250 loss, which basically cut our monthly profit down to negative 25%, right? And we wanted to see if the vendor took that same trade. So let's go and have a look at the vendor's sort of results. So just for summary again, they put $1,000 deposit. That was back in February, and now they're currently sitting at around $26,000, so around $25,500 in profit. Now, when we look at the previous trades, so we can see here that actually the vendor did take the euro Swiss franc sell, the same ones that I took, and you can see here one did hit the stop loss and land up in a negative of $1,200, but one closed out in positive that basically covered that and made some 200 odd dollars in profit. Now the interesting thing here is that if I switch over to my results quickly, you'll see that on our Swiss franc here, we had a martingale risk or martingale lot size together with some sort of grid strategy. So we had a 0.4, which is what all the charts are set at, and then the robot automatically took a 0.68 lot size trade, which resulted in a loss of negative $334 and $84. Actually, sorry, it wasn't actually $250. It was a lot more than that we actually landed up losing in that particular trade. So it's interesting that we took the loss, but the vendor didn't take the loss. And the only thing that I can think of, that could be different between us is the lot size, right? So maybe initially the vendor is using a lot more aggressive settings to get their account to sort of ramp up, and then when he's at the $20,000 mark, he's kind of put in smaller lot size to manage that risk, right? Because you can see we're taking 0.4 lot sizes as recommended by them on a $1,000 deposit, and we're basically making around, let's call it the $40 mark per trade on a 0.4 lot size, right? So basically $10 per 0.1. And if we look at the vendor's account, they are making around, let's call it $200 to $300, right? If you look at it here, about $200 to $300 per trade. So I would highly suspect that they're not using high risk lot sizes that we are currently using. They've obviously used it to get a big growth in the account, and then they've kind of just tailored it off here to use smaller lot size but still make some good growth. And that's the only thing that I can think of that would compensate for allowing them to have a bigger drawdown, to then at least have one trade close in profit. Whereas with my trade, I assume built into the EA there's some sort of equity protector, and it triggered that to close out both of mine in negative losses. You'll also see here that recently the vendor took a USD CAD buy, so 2 of those buys resulted in profit. On my results, I don't have that. Let's just jump over. And the reason I don't have USD CAD was that I was upgrading the VPS to have more RAM, so I can run more accounts and more tests, hopefully, on other robots in the future. But I'm not too really stressed about that. I mean, if I look at what the vendor made, we still wouldn't have made up what we lost here. So for now, I'm going to be ending this testing using this high risk settings here. I'm going to say, essentially after 7 weeks, call it 8 weeks, we weren't able, in 2 months, we weren't able to replicate anywhere near that 700% growth in account. At the moment, it's only $245. So that's about 25% growth as opposed to 700%. We did have a much higher, it was at about 60-70% prior to this stop loss. But I mean, that's part of the game, right? We are using bigger lot sizes, high risk to get those high rewards. So definitely not at the 700% mark, but I would still say overall, a fairly profitable EA. What I'm actually going to do is, this is not the end of the testing of the money tree. I'm going to start off again with $1,000 account, and we are actually going to drop the lot size and see if you had to do this on a very sort of maybe safe to medium risk basis, what sort of results we would get, and then whether it would be a EA worth continuing. But until I do that, maybe I'll just actually leave it for the last week, 8 weeks, let's round it up, have 2 months worth of data, and then we can call it quits on this particular 700% test, and then see what the actual real life results would be using smaller lot size on a safe or medium lot size on a smaller account. So that's it for the end of this video. I do see there's quite a lot of questions. I'll try and answer everybody, and maybe I'll do a video as well if there's any great information in the comments to share with everybody about this particular robot. Thanks so much for watching.